Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Sarah Fenske. Tonight, the St. Louis Cardinals take the field for Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. That means more than 45,000 fans will flock to Busch Stadium. Even more will be headed to Ballpark Village and other nearby businesses to root for the home team. That's good news for Downtown St. Louis, Inc. The nonprofit group says downtown is ready for its close-up. It's excited about all the new places close to the stadium that are ready to serve you a drink, sell you dinner, or just give you a new experience. So joining me in studio to talk about all of the above is Missy Kelley. She's the CEO of Downtown St. Louis, Inc. Missy, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And for those of you listening at home, if you have a question or comment about Downtown St. Louis, you can give us a call at 314-382-8255. That's 382-TALK. Or you can send us a tweet at STL On Air or email us at talk@stlpublicradio.org. So, Missy, the last time the Cardinals made the playoffs, 2015, that was a while ago.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah. So for those of us, or I shouldn't say those of us, for anyone who's listening who hasn't bothered to visit Busch Stadium since the last time around, what has changed since then?
A whole lot. So the physical landscape of downtown St. Louis has changed. And over the last 20 years, there's been a lot of redevelopment and renaissance in downtown St. Louis. And, there used to be in the beginning of 2000, there were 156 empty buildings, and now there are less than 24. So a lot of the renovation and the redevelopment of downtown was inside these big, beautiful structures. And it was an amazing, and it has been an amazing renaissance, but you couldn't necessarily see it from the highway or from Market Street when you were driving down. That is completely different, and especially in the last 5 years since the last playoff series. Now you have a completely changed skyline. We have the Ferris wheel that just opened, which is super exciting. We have the new building at Ballpark Village, the new apartment building that is going up and is going to be very tall and will certainly change the skyline. We also have the new office building that's there as well. And since then, Keener Plaza has been renovated. You've had the Arch grounds are now brought into the downtown.
So much more accessible.
So much more accessible. So it's just physically very different than it was, on the outside. But then, of course, as I said, there are so many new, interesting venues within those beautiful buildings as well.
It's interesting. We were talking to Leonard Slatkin, the music conductor laureate of the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra the other day. He recently moved back to town after about 20 years away. And we asked him, has the city changed much? And he said, downtown is just amazing. Mm-hmm. And I think for people who've maybe forgotten how things used to be, they might be blown away by what's happening right now.
I think we reached a tipping point where all of a sudden, because of, all of these brand new, skyline changing things, people are not only noticing that, but once they get here and look around, you can really see a visible difference. And we hear that a lot. People that have moved, and we have a lot of boomerangs, right? People that move away from St. Louis for one reason or another, but, this is home, and they come back and they say that cannot believe how far downtown St. Louis has come.
How much has the residential population of that neighborhood changed?
About 400%.
Oh, wow.
So we have a little over 11,000 residents downtown. We have 95% occupancy. So that means that of all of the units that are available at any one time, 95% of them are filled and either leased or owned. So really the rate limiter for our residential population downtown is the product that's available. So with One Cardinal Way coming online, that's going to open another 150 units or so to downtown.
And that's part of that Ballpark Village development that the Cardinals themselves are developing.
Yes, and it's tall and it's beautiful and it has, views of the stadium. And the thing about that, and I think this is what's really important about growing the residential population, is that you have to have a good product mix. So One Cardinal Way is going to be a level of luxury that is not currently available in downtown St. Louis. It's not to say that we don't have, kind of run the gamut in terms of, just kind of a basic loft to a really beautiful apartment. But this is really going to take it to a new level. And that's important for attracting different people.
So speaking of that new level, I read the other day, we're talking about rents that go as high as $8,000 a month. Is that for real in St. Louis?
Well, the penthouses. I mean, there's another development in downtown where the penthouse was $6,000 a month, at least when it opened.
So there's maybe a single unit that's going for that.
Yes,
but that's still,
that not the general. Most of the units are not going to go there.
But it's amazing that's now an option when you say you need to serve the upper end. That upper end it's come to St. Louis.
Yes, it has.
And what is, for the lower end of things, if somebody desperately wants to live in Ballpark Village and they're not a millionaire, what would it take to get in at the ground floor of that development?
The lowest rental unit is like $1,500. So it's not nearly as, that's a pretty big span. So it depends on the square footage and that. I think that people have perceptions about, first of all, that there's not enough, that there aren't people that are living downtown. And so I think most people are really surprised to hear that there are 11,000 people living downtown. The other thing we hear often is that it's all young people. And while the majority it's not, there are a lot of people that are empty nesters. There are a lot of retirees. We even have families that live in downtown. That was one of the things that amazed me the most when I started working downtown. I couldn't believe how many people I saw pushing baby strollers and walking the dog. So it was evident that they lived there.
Wow.
So yeah, it's truly a neighborhood, which is really exciting.
And at the same time, let's talk about these misperceptions. You mentioned that people might be surprised so many people are living there. There is also, you'll hear from people in the St. Louis suburbs all the time that they are convinced that downtown St. Louis is dreadfully dangerous. What are the stats on that these days?
Well, year over year, crime is down, and compared to last year, it's down 14%. Most of the crime that we have in downtown is very similar to what you would find in the urban core of other cities, and that is related to car break-ins.
Okay.
So
that has been a problem.
That has been a problem, but that is not the same as, someone being personally, now no one wants their car to be broken into or their neighbor's car to be broken into, and that certainly does deter people. However, that is a very different level of, fear or discomfort than my car got broken into, right? Yeah. So we are definitely moving in the right direction. The police department has increased their presence in downtown St. Louis. Our organization has also supplemented what the police department is doing by hiring secondary officers. The other thing that you're seeing is that more and more people are coming downtown. So when you have density of people, especially when you look at things like the Cardinals game and these Blues playoffs that we just had, and when there are a lot of people downtown, that perception of safety is really not even a factor. And I would guess that most people, when they come down for the ball game, they're alert and aware like they are in any city that they go to across the country, but that's not their main focus. They're walking next to other people in red and they're heading toward the game and they're thinking about the game. So I think it's one of those things that it's the experience is very different than what the perception is.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like the safest night to ever be downtown St. Louis might be one of these championship games where downtown is just packed with people.
Yeah, I have been all over downtown this morning and it's not even a very beautiful day to be out and about,
day,
right?
Let's be honest.
And there's red everywhere. It is so exciting. And so we're already seeing that. And that's the thing is that people, even when the games aren't at home, especially during the playoffs, people are coming down to watch. So we've got restaurants and bars that are filled. Patios is opening even on the away games. So things, people just want to be around other fans, and this is such a great place to do it.
So what kind of impact does that end up having on the economy of St. Louis? Is there a big boost from people who just come to a stadium and may end up leaving pretty soon after the game?
So the estimated impact of a playoff game is $3 million.
For each game?
Each game.
Wow.
So I know, it's a lot, right? It's tickets, it's merchandise, parking, but it's also lodging, restaurants, bars before and after. And again, a lot of people are coming down to watch from a bar, even if they're not going into that stadium. Mm-hmm. The other interesting fact that contributes to this economic kind of boom that we have with each of these games is that 40% of the Cardinal fans come from outside of the St. Louis region. Mm-hmm. And that includes Southern Illinois, so outside of that area. So they're staying in hotels, they're eating out, they're hanging out after the game, they're hanging out before the game. So that it is a significant impact to the economy.
So the very fact that Cardinals managed managed to get out of this last series and they're now in the championship series. This is going to be good for a lot of downtown businesses.
It is, very much so.
So let's just highlight a couple of these businesses. One of the trends that personally I'm pretty excited about is this new rooftop trend. We've now got a couple of different options for this. Now, 360 has always been this great rooftop bar, but it can be hard to get into, especially on a game day.
Right.
It's so popular. So what are some other places people can go if they want sort of the bird's eye view of the developments we're talking about?
Yes. So Hotel St. Louis, which is on Olive Street, and it has a gorgeous rooftop bar. And what's really nice is that there's an inside part and an outside part similar to 360. And it's a different view. You know, you're several streets over from 360 and at a little different level. And it is a beautiful view of St. Louis. And I have really have kind of fallen in love with going to these different rooftops just to see St. Louis from a very different perspective. So the other one that recently opened is called The Last Hotel, which sounds like, you know,
the final
why would
hotel.
Why would they call that? Well, it's in the International Shoe Building, and they're built on the history of the garment district and the shoe industry in St. Louis. And the last is actually a part of the shoe. So when they're cobbling the shoe, so that's why it's called the Last Hotel. And when you're inside there, you'll see all of this, all of these relics and things that are related to the shoe industry in St. Louis. Their rooftop bar is beautiful as well. So, and they are, you know, these are both hotels. Both are open to the public, whether you're staying at the hotel or not. And at the Last Hotel, even the pool is open to the public, whether or not they're staying. Now, today's kind of a cool day for that. Yeah. But let me tell you what, the bar itself and the outside area are really exciting and really fun.
Those have been, I mean, those parties this summer at the pool got a lot of people turning out for them.
Yes, they did.
I never thought St. Louis would be a big city for pool parties, but man, the Last Hotel has proven my hunch wrong. I feel like the other really big exciting thing, you mentioned this very briefly earlier, but also has a great view of downtown from it, and that is the Ferris wheel. Oh, yeah. So where is, you know, people see it driving by on the highway. If you want to find the entrance from the street, where do you go?
Yes, you can. You just go exactly where you would go to park anywhere at Union Station. So you can get there off of 20th Street or 18th Street, and you just park behind the Union Station, and it is really amazing. There is the soda fountain that just opened there that has the most ridiculously crazy good, even just taking a picture of it is enjoyable, these freak shakes. And the ice cream is Clementine's, which I love because it's a St. Louis-based company. And you can go up on the wheel. You can go into the soda fountain. There's going to be a little golf course there, little putt-putt golf course there. But the wheel, I did have the good fortune to go up in the wheel with Steve O'Loughlin, who was the one that, you know, brought that to St. Louis right before they opened. And I went up at night, and it is stunning. The view is stunning. And the cars are climate controlled. So one of the things I think is going to be cool is it's not going to be a one and done thing. Like, people aren't going to be like, yeah, I did it. I mean, I want to be up there when it's raining. I want to be up there when it's snowing. I want to be up there when there are tons of people downtown for a Cardinals game and just look at the sea of people. I mean,
see all that with those red shirts.
It's really cool. It's a really cool experience.
Yeah, it's just been getting raves from everybody.
Yeah,
so.
And that's without the aquarium being open yet.
I mean, that's the next step of that development is this aquarium. What's the current thinking on when that might open? Do you know?
It will be open by Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
You sound determined.
I am
want
determined.
This to happen.
They will be open by Christmas. It is going to be amazing too. I did a hard hat tour of it recently, and you know, like everything that this development group, the O'Loughlin's LHM does, there's the attention to detail is just amazing. It really is. The experience that people are going to have going through the aquarium and the different ways that they can engage throughout the different sections. Again, each experience there is going to be different. So it's, again, not going to be a one and done. They're expecting over 1 million people a year.
Wow.
Coming through. Yeah.
So that's some pretty exciting news. And you spoke of these boomerangs. If anybody lives outside of St. Louis and they're coming home for Christmas, you heard it here first. Missy Kelley of Downtown St. Louis Inc. promises us that aquarium is going to be open.
That's right.
So Missy, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us all these highlights. And for people who are looking for more things to do downtown, I think at this point you can just walk around and start stumbling into awesome things.
Yes.
So this is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
The Gateway brings you the day's news from the St. Louis region and across Missouri. It also includes stories from the Illinois side of the river and our Metro East reporter, Will Bauer.
In Alton, in Belleville, in East St. Louis, in Edwardsville, in Cahokia Heights, at Scott Air Force Base, I'm Will Bauer, St. Louis Public Radio.
Listen to reports from Will and all of our journalists weekdays on the Gateway, on the STLPR app, and wherever you get podcasts.